To move your team to the next level with greater ease, master the skill of acknowledgement. Many top performers rise to higher and higher levels of leadership because of their individual performance. But when it comes to going from being a top performer to creating top performing teams, a different set of skills is needed. We are charged now as leaders not with just being excellent at what we do and our personal performance, but with inspiring and empowering our entire team to be the best that they can be. One tool that every effective leader needs to add to their leadership tool belt is the capacity to give effective acknowledgments. What do I mean by acknowledgments? An acknowledgment is a clear and compelling expression which conveys to another on our team one of the following: the qualities which the person has, which we admire or respect, the person's good intentions, or how this person has been a contribution. An acknowledgement is short and simple, more succinct rather than a speech. And most of all, it's sincere. Now, an acknowledgement is different than a compliment. You know, I love your new haircut, or that's a great looking new sweater, you know, is not an acknowledgement, right? An acknowledgement expresses who the person is, not what he or she looks like or what they own. An acknowledgement is not a thank you, although it may often be given in conjunction with a thank you. Managers often say, "Oh, I thank my people all the time," and that is great. Gratitude, expressing appreciation is very important at the workplace. But an acknowledgement is different. An acknowledgement is not so much about what someone has done, but it's about who they were being when they performed in that way. In other words, imagine you've got Maria, who's just worked 60 hours this week, and it's only Thursday. And you might say, "Thank you, Maria, for working 60 hours. Really, thank you." Or you may say, "Your dedication is amazing, Maria." Now, which of those do you think will be most likely to warm Maria's heart? She appreciates the thank you. But you seeing her dedication really matters to her. See the difference between a thank you and an acknowledgement. In this way, you know, we're both letting Maria know that we see who she is and how she's contributed to us. Now, it's essential that an acknowledgement be sincere. Never fake an acknowledgement. Never. You know, I know with some skills we say fake it till you make it. No, not with these, right? If you cannot say the acknowledgement with absolute sincerity because it is real for you, better not to say it at all. You know, my mother used to say, you know, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. And I like to say, if you can't give an authentic acknowledgement, don't give an acknowledgement at all. So make sure that it's sincere, because you know when you've heard someone say something to you in that saccharine, sweet way that you know is phony. Doesn't it? I mean, like, it's disgusting. Like, you know, it makes you sick to your stomach, doesn't it? You hate that. So will anyone who detects that you're giving an acknowledgement that's less than sincere. Now, right about now, you might be thinking, won't people be suspicious if all of a sudden I start going around giving acknowledgments? I mean, you know, we could have all-out paranoia break out because people aren't used to me giving these acknowledgments, and now I'm kind of walking through the hallways and giving acknowledgments on a regular basis. Well, you know, they might. So that's why I invite you to practice it daily until they get used to the idea. And also make sure that they are taking in the acknowledgments as you are giving giving them to them. So don't save up your acknowledgments for those really big moments, right? You know, like, okay, someone's coming in for their review, I'll give them an acknowledgement now because it's time for their review, right? Or they've completed the project and now I'll let them know how wonderful they are, right? No, when they need it most is when they're struggling. That's when they need to hear from you that you see who they really are. Something else to be important, something else that's important is to remember that you want to make sure the person has received the acknowledgement. For many of us, it can be uncomfortable to have someone say something so, so touching to us, right? Oh, you really do think that I'm capable? You really think that I'm full of good ideas? Thank you, right? But sometimes people will say, oh yeah, well, yeah, thanks, ha ha ha, right? They'll deflect it, they'll make a joke because they're uncomfortable with receiving it. So this is what you can do when someone is having difficulty receiving an acknowledgement. Stay with them. Let them know that it's sincere. No, I really mean it, Chris. I'm serious. It's so true that this is how I see you. So pause, stay present with them. Don't let them deflect the acknowledgement with a joke. Just say, you know I really mean it. Don't you know I really mean this? And even if they're a little uncomfortable, I tell you, you want to have your team get used to receiving acknowledgements. Because if you don't have an environment where people are able to receive them, they're not going to be giving them, and all of a sudden no one's going to feel appreciated because no one's giving them, no one's receiving them. So if you want to have a team where everyone is seeing the best in one another, there are two skill sets really here. One is to give them, and the other is to help your team members learn how to receive them. So acknowledge, acknowledge, acknowledge. Now, sometimes we see that someone is not performing well, and we are asking ourselves, how am I going to acknowledge this person right now? Because I'm not really feeling the love. I'm having a hard time coming up with something to acknowledge this person for. The tool you can use here is to acknowledge their intentions. Because, most of us don't come to work with the thought, I'm going to really trash this project today and make all of my teammates suffer, and I hope I get fired, right? They show up with some intention to do their best or to help the team make it through a difficult time or to, be a part of the team. And this is an acknowledgement that you can always give. You can always acknowledge, if you're having difficulty acknowledging who the person is and the qualities in them that you admire, you can always acknowledge their good intentions. I know you want this project to succeed. I know you really care about us getting past this obstacle. I know you're willing to give it 100%. Do you see that? That's not about their performance. That's not about what they have done or not done. It's about what their intentions are. So when you're able to give those kinds of acknowledgments, that person might remember that that is true about them and say, yeah, I am. I really am. I really do care. I really am committed. And I'm going to give this a go again. I'm going to get back on track. So here are some sounds of acknowledgement. Did I ever tell you that your creativity inspires me? When I'm around you, I feel so calm. Knowing I can count on you makes all the difference in the world. There's no doubt to me that you want to be successful in this new role. Your supportiveness made this project possible for me. Notice the simplicity, the brevity, the sincerity. If you're having difficulty finding something to acknowledge in someone, keep looking. Keep looking. Because either you have a management challenge and this person should not be on your team. If they're on your team, then there's a reason. Look for what that reason is and give it that acknowledgement. So if you want your team members to see who they really are, who they really are in their hearts, You have to see it first. You have to see it first. You have to let them know that you see it, that you see their qualities, that you see their good intentions, and that you see how they contribute. I invite you to practice acknowledgments every day, and I challenge you to master the skill of giving acknowledgments to bring your team to the next level. Thank you for listening.